Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be a twin flame message for the new moon in Scorpio. And so we're kind of in this major gateway of energies, and we are being asked to kind of persevere through any challenges despite whatever circumstances are coming up to be purged and addressed. And so before jumping in with the channeled message that I received in regards to the new moon, I want to share with you some of the number syncs that have been very loud for me the last couple of days. And so 323, 515, 212, 303, 414, 454, 222, 717, and 818 have been huge number syncs for me lately, along with 777. And so the number 29 has been very significant as well. 29 is the closing of a major karmic cycle. And so we're being asked to persevere through these very extreme, intense energies when it comes to the portal gateway that we're kind of working our way through for the Twin Flame Collective. 111 on the timer. 111 is a strong message of watch your thoughts. Pay attention to your thoughts. It's also the energy of instant manifestation. And so our thoughts, our visions are manifesting rapidly at this time. So we're going to want to stay within a positive mind frame, because I do feel many of the divine masculines are going deep within the deep. It's like deeper within the deep. And so the masculine, I feel, is going to have to find his persistence to get through all of these difficulties despite whatever is coming up, because on the other side of this portal gateway, we have the inevitable rewards for the twins. And so I do feel a lot of the masculines are in an unhealthy commitment, and they're going through this discovery process when it comes to all of the lies that they've kind of been living in, right? And when we kind of go through this awakening, we do kind of have to face all of the past judgments from past lives. And so it's almost like this portal energy, I feel, of awakening some Akashic memories when it comes to past lives. And there's a lot of karma clearing as we kind of enter this juxtaposition cross of commitment. And that is what we're here to do, is to commit to the path and commit to the counterpart. And so, yesterday was the 11/11 portal. I'm pre-recording this on Sunday. And so we had the 11/11 portal, and where I'm at in Canada, we call that Remembrance Day when it comes to those that have fought and served in World War I and World War II. And so it's like the energy of the draftee, like the masculine getting drafted into this spiritual warfare. And so there's a lot of adaptation going on in the struggle, which is necessary. And we do need to remember, when we go through these purging states, the struggle is not a permanent state that we stay in. And so I do feel a lot of these deep impressions when it comes to past life marks on the subconscious mind is coming up. And I do feel the masculine is struggling as he kind of returns to a state of remembrance of all of these extremely difficult emotions coming up. And so there's a lot of hesitation, right? A lot of the masculines hesitate in making this commitment towards the feminine based on past life experiences and based on past relationship experiences that have kind of hindered the growth process. And so in times of war, the energy that the feminine needs to apply is her innate nature of peace, right? And the feminine has the power to preserve the energy as the masculine goes through this reassessment. And so I do feel a lot of temperance energy. I was shown the temperance card, which is Sagittarius. And so a lot of these energies are being tempered as the feminine holds her power and sustains her power as that guiding light in the energies. And so as the feminine says yes and has the power to persevere, the masculine is I feel, perceived in all of this disharmony. And so they are being asked to end the cycles of disharmony and discord. And I do feel there's a lot of overcautiousness as the masculine goes through this reevaluation of basically experiencing himself. And it's kind of like an emotional body activation is kind of how the guides have showed that to me. And so in context, I feel this is where the masculine assesses why he's not been able to take action towards these unions. And so a lot of the masculines prefer to withdraw and to run. And so a lot of the masculines didn't really have a lot of regard for the cause and effect of this withdrawal due to their inability to make a commitment towards the feminine. And so I do feel there's a high cost, a high price to pay when it comes to this in action. And I feel the feminine knows that sometimes it's better to just hold the peace and to take a step back than to keep fighting another day kind of energy. And so the feminine holds the power of patience when it comes to the power of waiting. And so there's a lot of direct light codes kind of saturating the collective. I know the crown chakra has been very tingly for me the last few days as all of these codes kind of get downloaded. And so it starts in the crown and then it trickles down my face and then it'll go through both my arms and all the way through my legs and I've been grounding the energy. And so the shortest distance between the twins right now would be the masculine pointing straight towards the feminine and shooting that straight line straight towards the divine feminine. And so I do feel there's a lot of inharmonic, crude energy surrounding the masculine. There's a lot of crudeness. And I do feel the masculine might even be very direct right now and offending a lot of people with his truth that's kind of coming forward. And so I do feel the feminine is being asked to take the wisdom we've gained on the journey up until now and just to try the most direct approach possible to solve any difficulties that have been arising for you. And I know the feminine holds the power first and foremost to commit to oneself. And that's what the feminine, I feel, is being asked to do right now in this new moon. New moons are for setting intentions. It is for planting the seeds. And I do feel we're still not completely out of the eclipse portals. And so this would kind of symbolize almost like a south node new moon to a certain extent, or on the inverse side, for Scorpio north nodes, like a north node, scorpionic north node activation. And so I do feel there's a lot of overreaching too. I know myself, I kind of got hit with the mini tower. I decorated the house for Christmas this weekend and I sliced my finger really, really good. Took me over an hour to get the bleeding to stop. I probably should have went to the hospital and got stitches, but I'm a big baby when it comes to pain. But I feel the feminine is kind of being exalted, is the energy that is coming through. I know I've just had this newfound drive, this newfound ambition to kind of get things done in my life. And I do feel the masculine is feeling like a failure. He's being asked to say yes. I also feel a lot of the masculines overextended their resources, which is causing also this energy of failure. And so there's a lot of confusion, I feel, in the energies. We're in a lot of confusing energies as all of these kind of Akashic memories get activated and these downloads kind of come rushing in as the collective is kind of being saturated in these energies at this time. And so it's almost like this existential crisis. And the momentum of the energies playing out is kind of stripping away all of the veils of illusion to bring this newfound awareness forward for both of the counterparts. And so, you know, a lot of the feminines, we go into the path and we got to kind of drive the journey blind, right? Because we are the path, we create the path, right? And so we kind of got to drive blind into this journey, into our activated mission. And we have to harness our own God-given Mars energy to find our determination. And so I do feel a lot of the feminines, though, as they just drive blind forward right into the unknown path, this often brings a lot of blind luck that the feminine can't really see taking place behind the scenes. And so oftentimes when all of these downloads come in, it doesn't really make a lot of sense unless you can talk it out with other people that are on the twin flame path. And I do feel with all of the confusion surrounding the divine masculine, he would rather withdraw than accept any accountability right now because of the confusing state. And so there's a lot of caution when it comes to the masculine kind of saying yes, and it's like the fool energy coming forward. And so we're in the realm of a lot of duality at the moment. There's a lot of Jupiter expansion going on when it comes to fulfilling our purpose and this spiritual bonding and alchemical process that is taking place. And so I do feel we're in like this gateway portal of new discoveries. Scorpio energy is all about getting to the truth, the cold hard truth. And so it's like where the feminine looks like she's succeeding, the masculine is perceiving where he is at is almost like a failure. And I did feel a huge sacral center purging as well in the energies. And so if we go back to the number 29, which is the closing of karma, and Pluto will be soon going back into the 29 degrees. And so there's a lot of Capricornian lessons coming up. And so it's like all of the signs and syncs that I feel are being presented is this constant affirmation for the divine masculine and the divine feminine, that it's time to say yes. It's time to commit to this higher energy, to this higher path. I feel the masculine knows it's time to commit to something new. It's time to persevere through whatever cycle the masculine is closing out when it comes to what this discovery is bringing forward for the masculine, and everybody's journey is going to be individual. And so we do have the strength and the perseverance to go through these cyclical patterns. And so I do feel what the masculine was previously committed to in the false contract, it's really no longer of interest for him as he kind of goes to the next level. And I feel a lot of leveling up at this time. And so when the masculine makes that correct commitment towards the feminine, this will allow the supporting of the maturation of his fullest potential when it comes to these activations, when it comes to this relationship that the twins have together and our relationship with humanity and the world at large. And so there's just so much being processed in these direct light code activations. And so I do feel the masculine is getting ready to commit their divine masculine energy towards the feminine, but they're in like this waiting game until they are perfectly clear as to what is truly right for them when it comes to what their energy should be invested in. And so if we think about the sacral chakra, it's a lower chakra, and we're building from 5D and above, which would be the heart would represent the fourth dimension. 5D and above would be the throat and above. And so when we're in our sacral chakra, we're kind of in a mechanical response to life, right? And so sometimes we don't know where this path is going to take us. And so I do feel a lot of the masculines, when they're in the false contract, they're operating out of their sacral chakra. They're responding out of a mechanical, lustful energy, and they're kind of single-mindedly with the sacral, with that down there. And so I just feel there's a lot of difficult, challenging circumstances as the feminine kind of comes into this fully aligned state. The masculine is being forced to kind of make a decision. And so I feel the only thing the masculine can do at this point in time, or the only divine insurance that the masculine has at this time, is to let go of any expectations and to allow the spiritual divine authority to guide him to the correct experience, which would be the divine feminine for that commitment of the union. And so I feel it's time to get to work, but the masculine doesn't really necessarily know how to strive to work towards that union. And so if we go from 29 to 30, 30 is the union energy. And so it's like the masculines have been clinging to that burning ring of fire from the new moon eclipse in Libra. And if I remember, I will tag that video to the end of this one. So it's like they're clinging to the burning ring of fire. And I feel this gateway of flooded emotions. And we're all kind of being asked to surrender to the fates at this point in time. And so we're gaining freedom as we recognize the illusions that are kind of shattering. And when the illusions shatter, we can accept the limitations, the fated limitations. And there's a lot of emotional awareness that lies between the process of hope and pain, right? And so we have to maintain our composure and our balance in the face of the masculine's disorder. And so I do feel as the feminine maintains composure and her aligned state in the face of all of the disorder collectively, this maximizes the limitations in order for this to progress forward. And so we still need to maintain a certain amount of stability through all of these feelings being presented. No matter what the situation is that's triggering these feelings, we do need to maintain a certain amount of composure. We have to be able to balance our feelings. We need to be able to feel our feelings, or else we won't be able to fully let them go. And so it's like the balancing of the scales between the extremes. And so we have to properly apply these higher energies when they come in. Otherwise, we waste these gateway portal opportunities, and we don't want to waste our energy, right? And so there's a lot of over aggressiveness. I feel the masculine feels like he's being chafed against all of these limitations, and all of these feelings that have been repressed are demanding that energy. And so it's like the masculine kind of needs to resign and accept what all of this is, in order to harness all of the higher knowledge. And so I do feel the feminine holds the light to encourage the masculine as he goes through this processing. And I feel many of the masculines have tried to avoid the despair, have tried to avoid feeling the negative feelings. But when we finally feel the positive and the negative feelings, then we get to a place of acceptance, right? Of acceptance of it is what it is. And so I feel a lot of the feminines are in this awareness of the manifestation of the unions coming forward. There's a lot of regenerative processes going on, I feel, within the cellular DNA structure. And it's like the laws of karma are coming back. The laws of reincarnation are very strong in the collective, and the energy of resurrection. And so that is what we are here to resurrect the energy of Christ consciousness and to live a life of compassion. And so I feel a lot of the masculines are at the cross of the fated energy of maybe even the remembrance of Christ's crucifixion and resurrection, as all of the laws of karma are kind of activated. And I feel the masculine is in a state of like begging the universe for those answers. And I feel likely being met with a lot of misfortune at this time. I know that was misfortune for me. And I thought, oh gosh, why? Why? Like, so I do feel there was a lot of towers or misfortunes playing out over the weekend due to some compulsive behaviors. Maybe I know this was just a total freakish accident. But I do feel, I know some people are feeling states of burnout. And as we kind of go through these activations of these higher codes, we also do kind of have to purge any lower dense energies. And oftentimes it will feel like a state of burnout. So if you feel like you need to spend the day in bed, spend the day in bed and rejuvenate, regenerate your energies, put yourself in a little protective bubble if that's the case. I just feel the masculines are in this state of emotional collapse with all of these highly energized feelings surfacing. But the positive outcome is the fact that the feminine is kind of assisting the masculine through this analysis paralysis, whether it's energetically or in person. And so the feminine carries the necessary energy to help the masculine overcome all of these uncontrollable emotions. And I feel it's like this state of uncontrollable expansion. And it's the energy of, hey, that inevitability of that bubble being burst. It's like, boom, the bubble got burst. And they're in all of these states of uncontrollable emotions, followed by perhaps even emotional outbursts. And I kept hearing that song by Alanis Morissette. Isn't it ironic? And so it's like, it's just like a lot of irony is what it felt like. And so I do feel we're in a state of transitioning right now. The feminine needs to hold her strength, hold her knowledge, because I know sometimes it feels like we're 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but we're still 1 step forward. If we're 2 steps forward, 1 step back, we're still 1 step forward, right? And so all of these new feelings bring back all of the old feelings from past lives that we need to process so we can progress 2 steps forward and stay two steps forward. And so I feel there's a lot of anger surrounding the masculine due to the irony that's kind of surrounding this self-actualization taking place. There's a lot of frustration due to the karmic limitations that are surrounding the divine masculine. And there's this deep desire to, like, the masculine just wants to eliminate the entire process, wants to forget about the entire journey. But all of these old feelings keep being brought up into his emotional awareness, which is creating a lot of frustration and anger, I feel, because this is a whole new experience, because a lot of these masculines are so guarded around their heart due to some childhood wounding that this is a whole new emotional experience for them. And so it's like the cosmic enforcers or the cosmic energies are enforcing the masculine to take the right action through maintaining a certain level of discipline. And so we're in the purge, right? A great purge. A lot of the masculines, I feel, are feeling a little bit inferior. They're feeling weak. And it takes a lot of spiritual strength to purge all of these negative emotions. And so the feminine, I feel, will be feeling that as well, even if you're in a state of peacefulness. But I feel there's a lot of external forces right now that is triggering the elimination of all of these negative emotions. And so I do feel with all of this focused energy, there's a lot being activated between the root chakra, which would hold all of that anger, towards the solar plexus, which is like the 3rd dimension, and that is our vitality. And so I feel there is this energy of like soul recognition going on, and the energy of the fates are basically teaching all of us on the twin flame journey that life is never what we expect it to be, but it can be what we allow it to be, right? And so we all have positive and negative experiences, and these are all conceived from our higher contract, from our soul's desire to meet life on both the highs and the lows. And it's like an emotional roller coaster, an emotional wave. And so I know the desire I feel the masculine has for the feminine almost feels like an obsessive hunger right now that's kind of weaved through the yearnings of all of these different lives that we've shared together. And so I do feel that is what is influencing the masculine right now. And until he satisfies and fulfills that obsessive hunger, he's not going to really have any control over all of these emotions that are kind of surfacing. And so I do feel clarity is coming. And, you know, we go through many soulmate experiences on the journey, some positive, some negative, some that, you know, end on a very high note, some that end on a very poor note. But overall, the outcome is teaching us that everything in life is temporary. Nothing stays the same. Everything is temporary. Every interaction is temporary. And I do feel, you know, this truly is a wild emotional ride once twin flame recognition is achieved. And so it can feel like we're out of control at certain times as, you know, as these activations and these recognitions come forward. It's like, wow, it's like, this is what I've prayed for my entire life. This is like my wildest dream coming coming true. And then we kind of have to go through the disillusionment process and separation, because the masculine kind of doesn't reciprocate that desire. And we need to learn as divine feminines to not take that personally, because we have to achieve that balance in our personal life. And we can't fully achieve that balance without fully surrendering to the process and accepting what is, right? Because really the only thing we have to accept is the present moment. And so we also need to accept our limitations. And so we don't need to fear the fates playing out. I know it does feel like a pressurized energy. A lot of the masculines want to chase the feminine now. They're looking at her as almost like their dream person, a fantasy. But they do have to understand all of the larger patterns of the cosmic universe, of our life. And we do this through reflections in relationships, right? Everybody serves as a mirror reflection in every relationship, whether it's a family member, a friend, a work partnership, or a lover. Everything is a reflection of what it is we need to look at when it comes to our feelings and our deep desires. Because this is what we came here for, to experience our entire humanness. And to do that is a gift. And when we can experience the full range of our humanness, our gift is to share our energy with others. So that was the download I got. Now let's talk about this new moon. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because that's what I keep channeling. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And so the good thing is the new moon in Scorpio is going to be conjunct its ruler and trine Neptune. And so Mars is kind of in a domicile state in Scorpio. It's at home in Scorpio, and the new moon is conjunct Mars. And so this is kind of the good news. We'll do the good news first. And so Mars in Scorpio is resilient, right? Mars in Scorpio can be very deeply connected with their innate nature. But Mars in Scorpio, when they want something, they want it, they're going to go and get it, and they're not going to stop until they get it. And so desires are going to be the most powerful force right now in the universe, in these energies with the new moon. And the universe wants to help us manifest our desires through us, right? And so I do feel with Mars, the sun, and the moon all aligned with this new moon, our desires and our intentions do need to be very emotionally rooted. And that will allow us to gain a lot of momentum when it comes to manifesting these unions at this time. And with the new moon in Mars trine Neptune in Pisces, this is a nice watery energy, right? This is a nice trine. Trines are like portals. So we got a water trine, adding a touch of like psychic intuition to the energies. And it's the energy of, we just know what it is that we want to do. And we know what it is that we need to do. And the universe is kind of just whoosh, guiding us on the journey. The bad, we got Mars in Scorpio, opposite Uranus in Taurus. And so, you know, we got to take the good with the bad in life, like everything, right? And so this new moon is definitely not all sunshine and roses. Uranus is directly opposing this new moon, and Taurus energy and Scorpio energy are very fixed. Very different polarities. Scorpio fixed water, Taurus fixed earth. And so with Uranus in the mix, even though we've got a nice water trine, it's the energy of like the perfect cosmic storm is what I was shown. And so oppositions aren't bad or good. There really is no good or bad, but there's huge potential for towers and disruptions. Huge potential for the Mars energy to get very angry and lash out. Uranus energy is unpredictable when it comes to changes. And because these are the very two most fixed energies of the zodiac, there's more fixed energies, right? We've got Aquarius and Leo, but I find Taurus and Scorpio to be the most stubborn fixed energies of the zodiac. You know, I think both those sides are going to stick to their guns, and it could feel like full-on war between the Mars and the Taurus energy. And I know I've kind of had a run-in with my ex-karmic. Well, not really a run-in. I've just been very firm in my boundaries, and I just keep getting ghosted because there's like no lack of accountability there. But and that's where I feel like the Mars and Scorpio, my ex-karmic is actually a Mars and Scorpio. He wants to get what he wants. He wants his way. But I would represent like the Uranus and Taurus energy, and I'm this freedom, love, and rebellious energy, and I don't yield to anybody getting their way. And so it's like a clashing energy. Bottom line, there's a clash of ideals, a clash of wills, and I do feel there's going to be a lot of impulsive, rebellious actions and behaviors coming up here, because Uranus says it's time to push the boundaries, right? And so we need to expect the unexpected over the coming days. So I just feel a lot of disruption in the energy. So this could come in many forms, guys. Just expect the unexpected. So when it comes to the unexpected, I know a lot of us dread this. A lot of us try to avoid tower moments or change in our lives. I'm kind of the opposite. I don't fear the tower. I'm like, bring it down. I'm going to take the tower down myself. Usually if I know there's going to be a tower, I'm like, I'm just going to take it down, because I'm not afraid. We can't resist. We can't control the tower. So as much as the collective kind of dreads the unexpected or the unknown, the more we fear it, the more we resist it, or the more we try to control it, the more that energy is going to persist. I also feel a lot of the masculines are secretly waiting for the feminine to rescue them. And nobody came to rescue the feminine when it comes to her awakening experience. And so the unexpected really is a part of life that I find to be the most thrilling. And so the unexpected is saying, hey, this unexpected energy is coming in to show you the parts of yourself that you've silenced. When it comes to not speaking your truth, the parts of yourself that are unacknowledged or repressed, that need to boil to the surface, that are kind of just screaming to come out in the energies. And so, there's a lot of things in life that happen to us, the good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot of things happen to us. Sometimes we're at the mercy of fate. We're at the mercy of others. But I just feel whatever is coming up to trigger any of us in the energies over the coming days, what appears to be an unexpected turn of events is really likely just going to be a blessing in disguise, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time, right? And so we also need to remember, it's important to realize that our actions or our inactions are always going to create our reality, right? We have a choice to take action. We have a choice to not take action. And there's always going to be a reaction to both of those energies, right? Because not making a choice is a choice. You're basically putting your fate in the hands of others if you're not taking charge and making a choice. When we choose to take action, we also have to pay back the consequences of the action that we take, good or bad. And so Uranus is saying, hey, what is it that you desire? What is it that you value? Because Uranus is in Taurus. We've been discovering our worth and our value, our own set of morals and ideals over the last 18 months. And so what is it that you need to express that has been repressed? Because there's this ignition of the spark, I feel, between the flames that is leading to massive changes with this new moon. And so another energy with Scorpio that came up for me is resentment. Resentment and bitterness. Scorpio will hold on to resentment and bitterness till the day that they die. I know my dad's a Scorpio. Both my daughter's fathers are Scorpio. Let me tell you, if there's anybody that's a pro at Scorpio energy, I think it would be this Taurus lady. And resentment and bitterness, I know, can be held on to by Scorpio energy. So we've got a choice here: redemption or resentment. We can hold on to the resentment and the bitterness. We can, but then we're never going to get to a place of judgment or redemption, right? And so I think a lot of people are being triggered when it comes to their default programmed beliefs, these unhealthy patterns. There's going to be a lot of passive aggressiveness in the energy, especially with anybody harboring resentment. And so resentment is a very unhealthy psychological state. when we are operating out of a state of resentment, that's when we get triggered. I know people that hold on to resentment and bitterness, it's like they feel like they deserve more, more, more. But do they really deserve more? What have you done to achieve more than your fair share? And so I just feel it's the energy of reaping what you have sown. If you've put good out there, get ready to receive. If not, then get ready to have some unexpected, unforeseen circumstances kind of play out. I know we can often hold on to resentment when we feel like we've been cheated or aggrieved by somebody. And letting go of resentment and bitterness is not easy, because then we have to harness the energy of forgiveness and compassion. I know a lot of people will go to great lengths to try and get justice if they feel that they've been wrong. The energy can be very vindicating when we do that. But all we're doing is holding on, right? It's not about letting people get away with what they've done to us. It's not about proving that somebody is wrong or proving that somebody's right. It's just when we are in that state of trying to prove or trying to vindicate what's been gone wrong in our lives, trying to create justice, that really goes against like our best interests on the journey, right? And so we might have a sense of injustice, and it's okay to feel like maybe you were wronged. We can't deny that state either. It's important to acknowledge where we feel people have wronged us. But there's always two sides to the story. Actually, there was a meme I posted on Facebook. There's always two sides to a story, and then there's screenshots. And let me tell you, I got the whole story on screenshots, but it isn't about being right, right? There's always a bigger picture when it comes to energies that we might not fully grasp, because there's always two sides, right? And then there's the screenshots, but I just feel like a lot of the feminines are feeling like, why haven't we gotten what we wanted yet? Why isn't union here? And there's a reason for that, okay? The reason has nothing to do with you, really. It doesn't have anything to do with others. I just feel like sometimes in life, things are exactly as they need to be, because we need some deeper processing to take place. And so I feel this new moon is going to bring up a lot of scorpionic complexities that we're going to have to work through. We don't need to keep digging for explanations or hidden meanings. I just feel we need to just kind of be in the energies. We don't need to prove anything to anybody. I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. I'm just here to live my life, right? And so when we resist the Uranus and Taurus energy, we're basically resisting our own reality, right? So we can't force our way. We can't force others to do what they want. We can't force the masculine to come towards us. And I just feel it's just better for many of the feminines to stay focused on their goals and their future aspirations right now, and to stay focused in the reality of the present moment, even if it's not what we want it to be, right? Because the quality of being fully present in our lives, that invites all kinds of positive changes into our life. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, right? We don't even know if we're all going to wake up tomorrow. So why not enjoy the quality of the present moment as fully and as presently as you can? Because it's our spiritual ability to accept the present reality that will allow new doorways to open. And so I don't think we should go knocking on closed doors. That's a big message. Just allow the energy of this new moon to naturally and organically guide you to where you need to go. I'm not going to pull cards today, guys. My finger is really, really sore. But I'm hoping to be back at work, doing some zodiac signs this week. So give me a couple days and I'll probably be back at work. If you're in my tarot class, I will see you Thursday at 12 noon. I'm looking forward to week 2. It was a great week 1. I hope everybody has a wonderful week ahead. I love you all so much. Namaste. See you all next time. Thanks.